We're going to talk about adverse driving conditions. First, we're going to cover the definition of that because a lot of you may have a question as to what that means.
What is an adverse condition?
Yeah. Let's give them some examples, Darren.
Well, it's remember, the key to it is it's something that was unforeseen before you were dispatched.
Mm-hmm.
And in today's time, that can be a challenge with all the technology. But that's what the rule says, the definition says in 395, so we got to remember ice, snow, fog, major accident. These are some of the things you might not have known before you were dispatched. It was unforeseen.
Social unrest is a new one.
That's right.
And does apply under this rule.
It does apply, but our general 5 o'clock traffic in Charleston or Atlanta or up in upstate
Correct.
Greenville is, you already know those certain intersections are roadways.
Road construction
road
is already
construction.
there.
That's right. So just be mindful, especially if you're traveling on dedicated routes and they put a sign up saying, hey, nightly construction is going to be done between this date and time. You kind of already know if you're on a dedicated run. So that is pretty much the definition of an adverse condition.
Correct. The one thing to stress about adverse driving conditions before we get started with the current versus the new rule is that if you encounter one of those instances, you need to document it on your ELD or your log, and you probably need to provide some sort of hyperlink to a news story or print it off, some supporting documents. Yes.
Yeah, document.
If you don't put it in writing, it didn't happen.
Yeah. And on the ELDs, it's fairly simple. You can just type in a note.
Yep.
But I would probably put canned notes or something if you can. Make sure the driver understands what to put in there.
Right.
You don't want to get all into the gory details of it. Major accident.
This
highway
location.
shutdown. Yeah. Major ice storm or tornado popped out of a thunderstorm, that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the current and the new rule for adverse condition.
All right, I get to be current?
You get to be current again.
All right, so the current rule is that it may extend your driving limit, but it's not going to extend your on-duty limit by 2 hours, which means that out of your 14-hour day, you could potentially drive 13 hours in a 14-hour period. But the new rule
would allow you to extend both the driving and on-duty time by 2 hours. So now you get to push out to a 13-hour driving within a 16-hour day. So you get 2 additional hours to extend both on-duty and driving. Trucking is 13 and 16. You get to push both driving and on-duty time to 2 hours extension.
Correct.
All right. Remember, document what you're doing. And I know it's been one of the questions been posed to me, and we talked about this a little bit earlier about the technology. So if you know a hurricane is coming, you already got that on the map. We already know it's in the news.
Correct.
So, or protests and things like that. We already know what's going on. So it's a lot of communication that needs to go on between the driver and dispatch.
Yeah.
So, and safety as well.
Yeah, we've had some conversations with our safety group recently about even using Waze because it's real-time information. There are some other apps that are available out there. The 511 apps for each state are updated. I know here in South Carolina every 10 minutes for major accidents and incidents on the roadways and road construction.
So maybe if the driver's on a 30-minute rest break and they're, scrolling on the phone or something, maybe that may be a good time to use one of those apps. No, by all means, we're trying to tell you to look at apps and phones while you're going down the road. That's unsafe and out of compliance. So
our suggestion is for dispatch to take care of that for you.
So there needs to be a communication dialogue there.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Here are a couple of examples of a 2-hour traffic delay, and this would be a major accident that has everybody stalled.
Right.
So that it gives you the extra 2 hours to wait out the clearance.
Yes. Yeah. And if it's longer and the driver runs out, maybe it's one of those accidents or crashes where, the highway shut down for 8 hours. So by all means, we can't just push cars out of the way. Just document it. And when you get to the next safe haven, I guess that would be safe to say, then just pull on off. Don't try to further commerce.
Correct.
To get, maybe the constantly shipper is the next safest location, but if they can get to a truck stop, go ahead and shut it down, document it, and you can always schedule that load for another date or time.
Right.
All right.
If you have any questions about adverse driving conditions that we haven't covered today, please feel free to email either one of us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.